recording? Okay, very good. Calling the meeting to order. This is the Telecom Policy Committee meeting, and this is August 7th, 2024. It's 9 a.m. and this is a hybrid meeting, both in person at DPSST and virtual. Telecom Policy Committee administrative announcement. Everyone looks forward to this. This is a public meeting, subject to public meeting law, and it will be digitally recorded. Deliberation of issues will only be conducted by the Telecom Policy Committee members unless permitted by myself, the chair. Remember to always state your name for the record. For cases dealing with denial or revocation, only information contained in the staff report can be considered once the staff report is adopted. Assumptions, outside knowledge, or personal experiences should not be included in any discussion. Individuals who engage in disruptive behavior that impedes official business will be asked to stop being disruptive or leave the meeting. Additional measures may be taken to have disruptive individuals removed if their continued presence poses a safety risk to the other persons in the room or makes it impossible to continue the meeting. Would you like to do the roll?
Yes, of course. When I call on you, please state your name and who you're representing for the record. Chair Fletcher.
Mike Fletcher, Columbia 911, representing Oregon APCO-NENA.
Member Antoine.
Rosa Antoine, representing Bowick and APCO-NENA.
Member Ash. I don't believe he's present. Member Bell.
Hi, I'm Gary Bell. I'm representing Oregon Association Chiefs of Police.
Member Hamilton.
Brandon Hamilton, representing Oregon Fire Chiefs Association.
Member Griffin.
Rhonda Griffin, representing APCO-NENA EMS.
Member Joyce.
I'm Deshaun Joyce, representing Oregon State Police.
Member Juarez. Noah, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
You guys sound great. How do I sound now?
We can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry, I'm new. Noah Wattis. I'm with Port of Portland, and I'm representing Telecommunicators.
Perfect. Member King, not present. Member Long.
Rebecca Long, Oregon Health Authority EMS and Trauma Systems.
And Member Thurber.
Rayanne Thurber, Washington County 911.
And we have quorum.
Very good, thank you. For the committee, and checking to see if everyone had a chance to review the meeting minutes that were presented to you. If there are no requested modifications, I'm looking to confirm by consensus the previous meeting minutes. This is new, so.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Okay. Does anybody have any objections to the meeting minutes? Any edits?
No.
Hearing none. Meeting minutes are approved. Okay. They were getting this. All right. So I'm all done, right? So I'm going to turn it over to the case manager for professional standards.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. The department completed 2 reviews of professional standards cases and determined in both cases that there's insufficient evidence to support denial or revocation, and is recommending administrative closure in the cases. Memos are on the consent agenda for the committee's consideration. The department is seeking a vote from the committee to approve or return the recommendations. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the committee members regarding the administrative closure recommendations? Hearing none. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to be calling for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Brandon, Oregon Fire Chiefs Association.
Thank you. Need a second?
Rayanne Thurber, I second.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
All right, we are voting on a motion to approve the administrative closures. Chair Fletcher,
Aye.
Committee Member Antoine,
Aye.
Committee Member Bell,
Aye.
Committee Member Griffin,
Aye.
Committee Member Hamilton,
Aye.
Committee Member Joyce,
Aye.
Committee Member Long,
Aye.
Committee Member Thurber,
Aye.
and Committee Member Juarez.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. We're just going right to the agency
Yeah.
updates. Mackerel, this is fast.
Do not pass go?
Yeah.
We're
Thank
right
you.
there. And at this point, I'm gonna turn it over to Director Castle first, if he has any updates.
All right, thank you, Kathy and Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I just have a couple of updates for you, Phil Castle, for the record. One, all state agencies right now are working really hard on their policy option packages and working closely with the governor's office and so forth, so we're no exception. We have 3 big policy option packages that I briefed at the main board meeting that we had about a month ago. Those are real high level. We are asking for a learning management system. That is our top priority policy option package. Number 2 is there is a policy option package for a staffing supplement, mostly focused on regional staffing, being able to get out into the regions more and support our constituents out in the regions, which we are not very heavily staffed for, so we are trying to meet that need. And lastly, our last policy option package is 3 buildings for this campus, including a dorm, a large wide open training facility, and a facilities maintenance building that would be moved from down in the village up closer here to the main set of buildings. So far, we are being well supported. We don't anticipate, we may not get all of these, but that's okay. At this time, we're being well supported, and we do anticipate at least one of those going through. That's our hope anyway. Secondarily, I would say things on the campus are going really well. Right now, our volumes are back down what we would consider normal, which is still high and still over what we were designed for, but we've reconfigured to make that work. We are starting to work on our 25-27 schedule, where we are approaching scheduling very different than this academy ever has before. We are essentially over scheduling, and we are building more than the capacity that we anticipate, because we'd rather cut than try to cram something in later. We find that our quality is better, our planning is better, we're able to plan instructors further out. It's a lot easier to maintain operations, to cut training if you don't need it, rather than to try and jam it in somewhere when you're not prepared for it. So we're working on that right now. Lastly, I would say, and this is important for everyone out there, we did our listening tour a little while ago, and on that listening tour, we found and heard loud and clear that the periphery of Oregon does not get the same service from our regional training as the west side of Oregon and perhaps even central Oregon. So we have a new plan that our training and fire team are working on together, called our 5 Corners plan. And the 5 corners are 4 corners of Oregon and central Oregon. So we are going to do 5 large training events that are combined with LE and fire, and we're going to bring large packages of services to these locations once during the year, 1 corner during the year, and we'll be working with those local agencies in those corners of the state to find out what it is they want and need, and we'll be bringing those packages to them large packages to provide to them once per year. Doesn't mean that'll be the only time, but this will be a pretty significant event. We'll do combined training as well, that's being asked for. So we're really excited about that. We've also heard, and I mentioned that in this group because we've heard of requests for training for telecom, EMD, and things like that. So we'll be reaching out to those units in the farthest reaches of the state, or those agencies in the farthest reaches of the state, to see what they're looking for as well. Other than that, I'm also open to your questions. Some of the feedback we received in my evaluation this year was want to make sure that we have the opportunity to ask the director questions. So I want to make sure I leave some time to do that for you all if you do have questions. I'm just going to pause and see if you do.
Is the policy option 2 request for additional staff, is that driven by the listening tour?
Yes, it is. Yeah, thanks for that question. That's a good question. We did hear a lot like, hey, we love the regional training that we get, it's just not enough of it. So we only have 5 law enforcement trainers that are not funded. We take those out of Hyde. They're saying you need at least double that. We don't think we can get there, but we're doing what we can. We've also heard the need for wildfire training. We don't have wildfire trainers, so we've asked for those as well. There are a couple of administrative folks we need. So for example, we're 20 years old now, lots of pipes are starting to break, and we need a plumber. So we've asked for that and a couple of other administrative resources, but mostly focused on regional training resources.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the committee have any questions for the director?
I will pass it back to K2, Kathy and Kathy.
Appreciate it. Catherine Calpine, DPSST Professional Standards Division Director. Of note for the committee, I think noteworthy is that our last telecom class for this year is October. We're full with 28 in there, so no other further classes for 2024. After that, January, so BT 146 is slated to go. We currently have 16 in the class with room for 12, so definitely would appreciate if agencies have people that do need that training. Perhaps they think about the January so that we can do a full class. Because after that, it's tentative, possibly in May. So for planning purposes, January, we still have 12 spots. And then the other thing of note is we have a legislative concept to address. Currently, we have anywhere from 100 to 130 deferred cases at any given time. And a deferred case is when somebody doesn't complete their certification and separated from their employment, or they're no longer in the profession and didn't get certified. We have no standing until they get hired by another agency. Other agencies would probably like to look at some of these folks, but really can't risk hiring them and then waiting to see if there's going to be any action against the person's potential certification. So we've heard from many of our constituents on when there are viable people that they would like to look at if they could just get the deferred cases heard. So we do have a legislative ask and fix to address that. And we've been working with the Moral Fitness Work Group on that, and that's slated to go in 2025. With that, then I'm going to turn over to Kathy Fink.
Thank you. Kathy Fink, the DPSST. I oversee the Criminal Justice Certification Program, and one of the things the team worked on in June was a virtual training, and it was pretty successful. Basically started from when someone's looking to get hired through maintenance and additional presentation pieces on the moral fitness work that our team does daily. The other thing that we're working on right now is, which pertains to telecom, is the EMD program equivalency for third-party vendors. We have a F20 form that allows for that equivalency to match instead of having to send people here to the academy. And I know a lot of agencies are using products like APCO, Priority Dispatch, PowerPhone, and we want to get that process running efficiently.
Question, my pleasure for the record. September, October, Oregon APCO NINA, which is the primary industry organization that we all adhere to and follow. We hold an annual conference in Bend that's specifically targeted for training. And there's an opportunity if this agency would be sending people there to have a conversation about the forms, fusion with the forms, streamlining it, what the focus of EMD and the telecom, basic telecom courses.
Yes.
It's an opportunity.
And thank you, that should have been on my list to mention. We are attending on the Thursday, I believe it's the 26th of September. We have a 2-hour block of time in the afternoon. To do that, we have 3 team members going over to talk about these same phases, but it's a great opportunity for Q&A for specific things. So, thank you.
Be my recommendation, and I will poke the conference chairs about, there are some things that should be an annual, every year. There are certain courses, certain agencies that should be there because we interface with them so much, and this would be one that I would suggest that
thank you.
This organization should have a presence there annually, including the director. Just say hi, meet and greet. It's going to be important.
Thank you.
Anything else from the agenda? Super. Is there any other input from the committee members? Last call. Hearing none, just thank you everybody for showing up. It's important, and it's always can be a challenge to get a quorum. So thank you everyone for your time this morning. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 6th, 2024 at the same time, 9 a.m. So put it on your calendars. With that, I will adjourn the meeting